Do you hate being in prison? Because I hate being in prison too. Welcome back to another episode of the 1313 podcast, everyone. Welcome back, all you Regs and all you Shinies, to the 1313 podcast, the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe. I'm Jacob.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Tommy.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is the podcast. Please, if you haven't been here before and you're new here, if you're new here, make sure that you leave a like, leave a comment, follow us on all of our social medias. That is Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And make sure that you join the Discord. Link is in the description below. And if you want to go above and beyond in supporting the podcast, make sure that you support us on Patreon, because at the first of every single month in our Gungan Boss here, we do a giveaway. And this month, well, next month, technically, we're going to be giving away this.
It's the holiday season. Early.
Whoa.
We are giving away the 2022 Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar. So make sure before November 1st, you join our Patreon at the Gungan Boss tier so you can get a chance to win this awesome Lego set.
That way you get it so you can build it in December! So if you want to win that Lego set, make sure that you support us on Patreon.
And with that,
James
want some merch?
Gunn.
Want some merch?
No.
Go get the no.
Apparently nobody does.
Nobody
nobody's
wants the
buying
merch.
That's
Go
okay.
get the cool fire merch.
That's not
we made.
okay.
Are you looking to get your significant other or yourself a beautiful, because we know you don't have a significant other if you watch us. If you want to get someone for yourself some merch, check out our Teespring.
Would you rather walk around naked? Winter is coming. Your nipples are going to get cold and freeze off.
Winter is coming.
Unless you put on a 1313 podcast hoodie. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Anyway.
Anywho.
James Gunn.
The
So masterful man behind now the entirety of the DCEU.
Yeah, pretty
And-
much.
Yep.
Brilliant mind behind Peacemaker, producer of The Batman. News has just come out that he has his own Star Wars project.
Is it news or is it a rumor?
I think it's
I thought it was a rumor.
I thought it was a
report.
rumor that was confirmed.
I don't know. I'm gonna treat it as a
Take it with a grain of salt.
ruser. A ruser.
What are you doing
A
there?
news rumor.
What are you doing there?
A ruser news rumor. So, and when in the timeline is this movie taking place?
Just after episode 9.
Oh!
So we have a really good chance of seeing Rey, Finn, Poop Down Brum, and Ben Solo.
What?
Moon Knight.
Listen.
Yep, we're gonna see Moon Knight, the British girl from Murder on the Orient Express, and
Wait a minute.
Okay.
what else?
Wait a minute. But
the Woman King guy.
wait a minute. The sequels aren't canon, Jacob. Why would they ever do
Yeah,
anything?
you're right. The sequels aren't canon. If Disney made it, it isn't canon.
If Disney made it... Here's my actual question, though. What are the actual odds John Boyega comes back, though, after he went on that huge time?
Very high, because you want to know why?
Money.
Money.
Well,
You're right,
John
you're right.
Boyega, he did say that he would be more than happy to come back to Star Wars too. That's the other part. Because he is a Star Wars fan. For those who don't know,
You good?
POV, Finn in episode 7, 8, and 9. Audio warning for headphone listeners.
You just gotta turn it.
Posthumously, after you've become hard of hearing or
All
completely
they're
deaf.
hearing right now just...
The 1313 podcast is not responsible for any loss of hearing.
I just spoke American Sign Language to the people.
And
I did too.
And everybody stopped watching the video.
And then, basically, though, yeah, John Boyega would come back. I don't know that Oscar Isaac would come back. He hates Lucasfilm and Star Wars.
Why do you say hates?
Because I've watched him do interviews, especially with him as Moon Knight. People have, like, in interviews, will be like, would you ever go back to Star Wars? And he's like, hell no. I'm never going back to that. It sucked. And then there's Daisy Ridley, who would also be more than happy to come back, which is why I think if they did this movie, that it would be the thing I've been wishing for all this time. It would be the movie about rebuilding the Jedi Order for the millionth time in Star
Oscar
Wars.
Isaac would come back. They'd be like, would you like a copious sum of money?
Do you want us to take away your Moon Knight spot? Do you want us to take it away?
They can't take away the Moon Knight.
The
gonna
mouse?
be
I don't know. The
honest.
mouse might.
I don't really like the idea of going back and revisiting the sequel era after we just got it, because personally...
Wait, look up. I was checking. Why don't you have a neckbeard? Because only neckbeards have that opinion.
No, but I want to see, like I've been saying like a million times before, I want to see something that's pre-Phantom Menace, like even a little bit of what we got in Tales of the Jedi yesterday, how that hinted at stuff before, or even just something in the middle of that aspect as well, just because the sequel is so new. And in the end, thank you, Jacob, for your wonderful comments. But I feel like for the ending that it was, burying the Skywalker sayers and being done with it, I felt like that was it. That should just be the ending of the saga. Like if the timeline ends somewhere, end it there. But that is a personal opinion. Observe the beard.
Speaking of which, Tales of the Jedi, we just did an episode on that yesterday.
Yes.
So if you want to go check that out, be sure to go check out that special podcast episode, which is available everywhere that all these podcast episodes are.
Yeah, go watch it because it was cool. Tales of the Jedi was absolutely epic. Oh, here is a piece of Marvel news that is kind of Star Wars news, not really.
Then what?
The guy that plays, can't remember his name, he is the Red Hulk in the comics.
Oh, who is it?
The original actor died. It's like Storm or Strongarm or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The original actor died, so Harrison Ford is being casted
Yes.
as him. So Harrison Ford will be in the MCU.
He's Red Hulk.
Yep, Red Hulk.
I can't wait for Red Hulk to be like, that didn't work out.
Can't wait for Red Hulk to be like, I hate Marvel just as much as I hate Star Wars. Anyway.
Dang.
Yeah. So I am hopefully that James Gunn thing ends up being true and it doesn't fall through like seemingly many of Disney's Star Wars movie projects seem to just kind of fall through the cracks.
Sadly.
It's very sad.
Yes.
But
Anywho,
we have
we got to talk about Spamdor.
Andor.
Shamdor.
Hashtag the floor is lava in the new Andor episode.
Andor in Squid Game.
See, I thought the floor would at least just hurt somebody, not kill them. That's why I was like, oh.
Andor in Squid Game?
Jacob, you didn't like this episode.
No,
Why not?
I thought the episode was mid.
Why?
Because the episode felt like a really long, drawn-out setup for what's to come next, where they really could have got on with it. The whole episode really felt like they were just establishing the fact that the floor is lava. And like right at the very end, you see Luthen go to Saw Gerrera. I feel like that was more interesting than the rest of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire episode is just Andor gets there, and they're like, you know how you have your dogs out, right? So you can touch the floor. And then they're like, now you go to this area, and they're like, all right, guys, I'm the monkey from Planet of the Apes. Also the voice of Snoke. Also the voice of Gollum. You gotta build it.
Gollum?
Yes!
I was also a villain in Black Panther.
You gotta make me my parts, and I get over 200 days, so you don't mess up my floor. And then it's just kind of like Andrew's just the entire time. They're like, okay, I build. And then at one point in the night, some guy had enough of it and killed himself by playing the floor is lava a little too epically. All the while, Luthen is trying to track down Andor, and all the while, the ISB girl is trying to crack down on Andor, and then Cyril's like, I was a good deputy. And he's like,
And that's
See,
it.
I'm gonna
That's
be
the episode.
honest.
That's literally the whole episode.
Everybody have a great
That-
week. We'll see you all
We'll see
next
you guys.
week for another
Bye.
podcast episode.
Me
I
when the podcast doesn't end in 30 minutes. No.
I just thought it was the only episode in Andor so far that I was kind of like,
Well,
I'm gonna keep
you
it
also
above-
watched it immediately after you watched Tales of the Jedi,
That is
yeah,
true.
which was really
which was complete S tier Star Wars.
See,
yeah.
I liked it, but I feel like as Andor goes on, it doesn't have the rewatchability as anything else that we've had. And I feel like that's 100% because it's slower paced and it's meant to set something up. So in my opinion, for me, it's becoming the show that I watch once a week to get the build up for the next episode that'll follow it eventually. Like,
Yeah, that's what watching a show is.
I
Whereas
think
Watch the episode,
other episodes
to
like
lead
The
into the next.
Mandalorian, almost every single episode in that is action packed minus one or two where they set something up.
I think Andor is like, I look at it like a visual chapter book.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as, kind of like an audio novel, you know, but I also get the visuals because the show perfectly sets it up. Like I could see it if it just came out as a novel. This is something I would read once, and then it would probably be a long time before I went back.
Yeah.
And I probably
But
won't
the difference
watch.
is that with a novel, you can go on to the next chapter immediately. So you get like a building chapter of nothing but setup. You can go on to the next chapter to get
Right.
them payoffs. Whereas in this case, you have to wait a week for those payoffs.
I
So-
probably won't go back to Andor until season 2 is getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't like Andor. I
See,
love Andor.
Yeah, even the point that I made yesterday,
Shandor.
what made the episode fine with me at the end of the day is the fact that it's more Star Wars world building. We're getting brand new worlds, a look into what Imperial camps were like what Saw Gerrera is doing. All these different aspects of just like lore in general are being flushed out and brought into it. So that's why I'm fine with it, because it's expanding the galaxy we know. It would be another thing, in my opinion, if we were revisiting planets we have before and seeing similar characters and faces and environments. The fact that everything is different is cool. Like, what the heck are they being forced to build anyway? That's something I'm really intrigued to see for the next
Roblox
episode.
pieces.
Thank
Boost
you.
bungers.
What's
Is that a
boost
Merc
bumper?
music?
That's a Merc. You know, if you know Merc music,
A
that is
Merc
a Merc
music reference.
Yeah. I'm in
Rip
total
that homie.
2013 mode right
That
now.
motherfucker fell off.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He dated an e-girl and she took all of his wealth, and then he fell off after that.
Yup.
Oops.
Mm-hmm. It's like Corpse said. Girls are stealing my heart.
But yeah, let's talk about the episode itself. So we pick up again. I don't even know why I mentioned that we pick up where we left off, because that's the whole show.
Yeah.
But Andor, Cassian
So
gets taken and he gets processed. We get to see more of those shore troopers. And then they make a point to take their shoes off on the transport ship, which were very First Order-esque of the First Order
I
drop
agree.
ships.
So I feel like that's also kind of showing as well that those ships probably did exist to begin with.
Early versions.
Yeah.
They made the point to take their shoes off. And keep in mind, I watched this at 3 a.m. at first. So like right when it came out, and I was sitting there half asleep watching my phone, all squinty eyed, like, oh, they got the grippers out. Like, so it's Cassian and a bunch of people, him and like 5 other people. They get to this like aquatic planet, which again makes a lot of sense to stop a prison escape from happening. You're not going to get very far if and there's whirlpools all around.
And the magnetism trick, I guess they have. I didn't fully understand that. I guess it's connected to their cuffs and it makes them just whatever.
You talking about like the
In the
electricity
ship?
or?
Oh, it's electricity?
Yeah,
I think.
it's like
Oh.
a giant taser floor.
Oh, that's why they're ripped. So it conducts.
Yeah. So because then they came out in their space Uggs, and I was like, they got the North Face boots on.
Those were actually just repainted DC snowboarding boots, but
I was like,
Were
oh.
they? That's what it looked like.
because they had the spin bindings on them.
I know. I was like,
So maybe that's what they manufacture here, was my first thought. I was like,
The Uggs.
damn, they making the space Uggs up here. So I thought that maybe they were going to give them those boots, and that was going to be why they had them take their shoes off. And then no, they said, zippy zappy, the floor is lava.
you lead the dogs out.
And it looked really painful. The actors did a very good job of making it look really painful.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one
they
officer...
really did the Dougie.
The one officer says that that's the first of 3 levels of intensity.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, like you had said earlier,
Yeah,
why
level-
that one guy died, because it must be on level 3 at night.
It must be.
But yeah, then Cassian gets like booked and checked into the prison, and he's looking around. He is to me, I saw that as he's looking for potential escape routes or a way to maybe get out of this. But there were just too many of them.
In my opinion, at least, it felt like the reason he was just kind of like standing around the entire episode and looking is that he was just like in utter disbelief and shock that like, I'm in this situation now and I'm supposed to be here for 6 years.
I was on vacation. I'm a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I bet you
But
he's
yeah.
pretty upset about
All of his money being
about
left for
not
that
going
shit.
with Vel,
Yeah, in the end, not going with Val. And
leaving his crackhead girlfriend back on Miami Beach.
But then I feel like after it gets to the 30-day mark where it shows progression, he's like a part of like the machine automatically, like doing what he needs to do.
Doesn't
and
have
he
much of a
second-
choice.
Exactly, because that's all those people can do is just work on whatever they have to work.
If you do the best job, you get food with flavor.
That's disgusting.
That's so
Eat out of a
bad.
tube.
The tube food, I was like, no. At least it's unlimited.
Yeah.
It's like Tiger Woods after a bad accident.
Whoa.
What?
Wow.
He kind of deserved
That's
it.
strike 2, Jacob.
What?
That's 2 weeks in a row.
What did I... Was it something I said? I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. We need to get a button for that.
He was speeding.
He was. So then we see Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis is in Star Wars now. He did a really good job of being a cool foreman. And
What do you mean he's in Star Wars now? He's the voice of Snoke.
he's in Star Wars now. Him, the physical him.
Yeah, the physical embodiment of him, yes. Which
He
I
did the mocap
mistakenly
for
thought
Snoke, so
was
he
the
even
old
still,
guy
yeah.
from Pirates of the Caribbean, and they all made fun of me for it.
He is not.
Yeah, because
Similar
just-
looking.
It isn't, but
Similar
not
looking,
at all
yeah.
similar looking.
Similar looking.
It's just short white guy with gray beard.
Yeah, basically.
So you look like him.
But Jackson, you were right though about the counter in the cell being how many days he has left.
Yeah, because
Um,
I know some people in the Discord were confused about that, but I remember that being like a key thing because they're like, never look at the number because I guess, yeah, when you look at it and you only see it as like a day ticking by at a time, it's going to be like, what am I ever going to do?
And they're also all freaking out because he has over 2,000 days, which he is what,
Yes.
2198? It was the total.
Think-
I did the math. It's 6 years and 8 days is how many days he has in jail.
Are you sure? Are you accounting for leap years?
They don't have leap years in Star Wars.
How do you know that?
Well, I'm also assuming that a year is only 365 days there. So
They also did say that his sentence was 6 years. So
yeah. So aside from that, we get to meet all the people that are in Cassian's little group, his little work group. There's an older dude, there's a ginger dude, there's a couple other people, but one of them is a character that we've already seen in Star Wars before.
Yeah,
His
you were
name
pointing that out.
is Melshi, and for Rogue One fans, you'll know that Melshi was a named character that Cassian Andor calls out during the Scarif mission. I believe he tells Melshi to stay with Bodhi and the ship, if I'm not mistaken.
I
then he
couldn't
dies.
remember the name, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, he either
Yeah,
tells Melshi to lead a squad out of the shuttle, or he tells Melshi to stay with Bodhi. I haven't watched the scene since I saw the episode, but yeah, that is a character. So that tells me right away that this is most likely going to be the guy that he escapes jail with. I don't think, at first I thought Vel was going to come and get Cassian out. I think now that these two are going to work together to escape. Because I think that Melshi's going to tell Cassian either that he's with the rebellion or he's with Saw's rebels. And that's going to be where they find their commonality.
What if in escaping they screw over the floor manager guy and his sentence gets like raised, or he'll probably die?
I have a feeling he's going to
Something
get
like
right
that.
towards the end of his 250 days and they're going to crank it back up again.
What if, are we really going to see him in prison for that long? I mean, like, I was surprised they jumped 30 days of time.
Yeah.
Like, it's
that's
really
like
like...
a month.
Meanwhile,
Was it a month in Star Wars?
Meanwhile,
Because
365 days is not.
Meanwhile, at every point in the show or every other series we've had, it's like a continuous stream of time. It's not like a time jump like that. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting, at least. But you want to talk about Mommy Mothma? That's such. There's not a lot to talk about. with
No,
her
it's just
anyway.
more politics, and he's like, okay, get your funds out, because the Empires make it really hard to access the bank.
Mommy
Yeah.
Mothma's sugar daddy, the banker, is
banker.
is she's trying to get 400 grand out of the bank, and he's
400
like,
band.
"Sorry, dude, I can't."
See, what I'm kind of intrigued about is every single time it's been a party or an occasion like that, her daughter has somewhere that she's going or needs to be because she doesn't want to be, obviously she doesn't want to be in the political climate anyway, but she always makes it a point to be like, oh, like I need to go somewhere, or like I need to talk to this
Yeah.
person. So I wonder if she's actually doing something that's relevant and important that we're
She's sneaking
supposed
out of
to
the
see
house
later.
to meet a boy.
Well,
Maybe.
To
the
make more
husband,
Mothmas.
the husband is
Can we see
growing
it?
increasingly.
HD.
Whoa, what? 4K, 8K, 4D.
Markiplier starting a movie video.
Remember, wasn't it a Minions
saw that.
movie that
That's
was like
stupid.
4D where you could scratch and sniff
There
during
is
the movie?
no such thing as 4D. There is no such thing.
40, 41, 42.
I'm sorry. I'm like that is a fight or flight trigger. I hate that was a thing because all these kids at school would make such a big deal and be like, it's a 40. There's no such thing. Smell is not a dimension. Like, stop with this false it just makes my gears turn so damn hard. Like there's no lube and it's just grinding like metal on metal, bro. I can't take it. What?
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Sorry, I had a Jacob segment.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, now you just have to throw your head back
What's
and
that supposed to
scream. You have to throw your head back and scream now, Jackson. Wow. And on this episode of
You want some of this
aggravated assault
You want
on
some of
the
this too?
podcast.
You want some of what he's having?
A piece of cake. I want a piece of your cake, Jacob.
Then you can have it.
And anyways,
Call my ass the bakery because it's full of cake.
so yeah, I think the husband is getting more and more suspicious of Mon Mothma, though. He's getting not of them together. I think more of like what she's doing. He knows that there's something more going on than just her charities.
Mm-hmm. For sure, he'll figure out at some point. I feel like
He's gonna snitch on her.
No,
but yeah, maybe they could find something. Or what if she still covers it up? Because again, I always keep thinking about how she doesn't get busted or nothing really happens to her because of, we see her later in Rebels that she has to escape. That's the key thing that I keep harking back on, is because I feel like maybe they'll get close, but I feel like she'll skirt on by. You know what I mean? Like nothing major will happen to her. That's what I'm kind of confident about as the show goes on.
And then, meanwhile, Vel and Cinta have just been waiting for Cassian to show up. They've just been waiting. They've just been sitting on Ferrix, waiting.
And Vel's pretty upset that her girlfriend won't care for her as much as she wants to, because
just
she's
sitting
like,
in the window like the
"Please,
Riddler
like,
waiting for Falcon.
what about
to
us
stumble out
together?"
Of the Penguin's
And she's
lounge.
like, "The mission comes first, Vel."
"Why are you holding my hand?"
To demonstrate how awkward it was.
Don't leave for war again. Don't leave for war
Don't
again.
leave for the war again. Come back with both of your legs this time.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Me in 5 years.
Have you guys seen that video of like the dude in the wheelchair and his buddy's wheeling him, and then he like locks the wheels and points him at two people just kissing in a corner? Can't wait to do that to him.
Wow. It's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it just got dark.
I can't wait to push Jackson on a floating raft heading
I have a
towards
really
the ridge of
fun
Niagara Falls.
fact. I have a really fun fact, but remind me after the show.
Okay. And so,
I couldn't have waited. Couldn't have waited.
I just remembered it.
Would
It's
you like
funny.
to share with
We'll
the
share
class?
with everybody
We're
now
gonna
that
share
we're-
with the class.
Fine, it's graphic, but here we go. So basically, when a soldier dies, because Maya was talking to me that she learned this in her class today, in order to verify their real identity, you can't go off name tapes or dog tags. They cut the person's arm off, and then they peel the skin off of it, and then you wear their skin like a glove in fingerprint to verify that it's the person.
what did he say?
You cut off the person's arm.
No, I don't need you to explain it again.
Why wouldn't you just
You
cut
lie.
off their finger and then just... Why not just just take the arm and be like,
That's the method, I guess. They cut off the arm, take off the skin, and use it like a glove.
dang, mama. So when they come to your door and they say, your son died in the service, just know that they cut his arm off and wore it like a big, what are the...
If it's... okay, that's
They
like
wore your skin like a morph suit on Halloween.
I'm pretty sure that's like for certain deaths.
Nah, bro. Probably unidentifiable faces.
Yeah, like that.
That is very caca. And
Caca.
with
I can't believe you just described that as
We
caca.
can take that out if you want.
no, that's
But-
fine. That's
a
interesting
tidbit.
facts with Jackson.
Mm-hmm. I saw this picture of a water buffalo today that had its eyes gouged out with a bush.
So to move on to the more interesting part of the episode, being Saw Gerrera.
Well, no, I want to talk about Cinta and Vel because
Oh,
we get
still
a
Cinta and
whole
Vel?
scene.
Okay,
it leads
okay.
into with Bix.
Okay, no, he's
Big
right. He's...
Stalin.
So we see that the Empire is now strengthening its hold on Ferrix. They've established there are stormtroopers present on Ferrix for the first time.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
And they're looking this also ties in with the ISB.
Yeah, because
If you
now they
can't
picked
tell,
up on a
Jacob
transmission.
is not interested in talking about this episode of Andor. Not in the slightest.
There's like nothing to talk about. I feel like.
I think there's
is.
tons
I
to
feel
talk
like there's
about.
nothing to talk
They
about.
caught up with the codes, so then as they identified Luthen as Axis, maybe they'll be able to track the code and get a better idea, or realize it's going to Coruscant. So I'm interested to see that.
Maybe in order for us to better talk about Bix,
Yeah.
we should talk about the ISB.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, this is where finally Cyril crosses paths with the ISB, but we get to see Colonel Yularen once again in the show.
Yippee!
So for a second,
I was uninterested. Colonel Yularen here in her report was like me in this podcast. I was like, No, I'm listening.
I think he was just skeptical of it. He can't fathom that there would be something this organized.
Yeah, not yet, certainly. I thought that was really neat. I thought for sure that when Cyril kind of stepped up to... What's the girl's name again?
Dedra?
Dedra. When he stepped up to Dedra and was like, I can be a useful asset, how she just shot him down. It was like, no. And I was like, whoa, because I definitely thought that was the point. But what I also thought was funny, and a connection to real life as well, because I learn about it in a lot of my classes too, is how the ISB essentially has the Star Wars version of the Patriot Act, where they monitor every single thing that you're doing, and they can see your search history and your calls and your whatnot as well. So then they've been monitoring... Wait, you didn't know that?
They see my what now?
They see everything.
Yeah, Jacob, they see everything.
If they want to, they can tap into it whenever they want.
Legally.
Well, that's embarrassing.
They need to get a court order. But you can get around that.
Yeah.
They need a...
That's why there's all the jokes
like...
about the FBI agent in my computer.
Well,
the
it's
FBI agent.
NSA, that's what it is. NSA does
Say
that.
hi, here's this is me.
It's just you.
It's just you? No, but... So I thought that was pretty interesting as well, that they have their own little version. But then I thought that was... I remember the point I was trying to connect. Connecting that to the Mon Mothma dinner party and whatnot. How people were talking about the Empire is so great because they can provide all these services. But then they're like, yeah, but like if you step out of line for a second or say something wrong, then they'll get mad at you. And it's like, but it doesn't matter as long as you just like the Empire.
Don't do anything wrong.
Exactly. But at what expense?
That's...
Like your entire national security, if you can define that in Star Wars, like is
intergalactic security.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing about like the politicians in Mon Mothma's, scenario is they live such comfortable lives. They never have to worry about doing anything. They're doing crooked things, but they don't have to worry about their lives like normal people do because they're high profile individuals. They can do things like talk about how nice it is outside the window, and how come you don't look out your window more often?
Things.
Which that was funny. But it's like, yeah, just don't do anything wrong. I think the Empire needs to do more to protect us, and it's like,
and that's the point they made in Tales of the Jedi too.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, they make the point that the senators,
basically a parallel.
The senators are not in touch with real people's struggles. But Mon Mothma is
that fight, the fat Twi'lek from Clone Wars.
Oh, what's his name? He died in Bad Batch.
That was good though. I liked that.
What was Orn Frita?
Yeah,
corn fritter.
He got domed.
Corn fritter.
Corn Fritos.
No, but
the food is very nice.
Let me eat the bug.
Samsundula is causing problems on my planet.
Yeah, but even so, I guess from here, Cyril's still going to be in the story. Like that wasn't the end of him. So I feel like he'll keep pestering the ISB to the point where they might recruit him, but I doubt he'll be in prison or something stupid.
I have a theory.
Okay, what's your theory?
In the beginning of the show, I listen to other Star Wars podcasts. Like, so I'll sit and record for like ours, and then after we finish ours, I watch everybody else's, so I don't have like other people's ideas I'm regurgitating.
Yeah.
In the beginning, a ton of podcasts, specifically Sarlacc Digest, shout out you guys. They were saying that Cyril might turn to be a good guy and like help Cassian and the others. And I was like, no way. That after the third episode, we all agreed like, no way. He's definitely like for the Empire. But now the ISB has really just wronged him in his opinion. Like they've really just told him that they don't care. They used him for what they needed the information for, and then that was it. They don't care to fix his record or fix the report or whatever else. No, they're not going to do that. They used him for information, and Dedra is going to take that information and track down Cassian. So I think maybe Cyril might get in contact, maybe find out who Luthen is somehow or something along those lines, and he'll get in contact with the others and let them know, hey, the ISB's on to you. Because as far as Luthen can tell, no one's on to him yet.
Yeah.
But I start to buy into that theory now.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I feel like he's still
He's
very
a
much
bad
against
egg.
Cassian. So I kind of feel like that's where his point is as well. Although the ISP wronged him, he's like, okay, I'll
Cyril
figure
is
it out
Girl
my
Against
way.
World. He is he's on his own.
We should
little
have Cyril on the
adventure.
podcast.
We should have Cyril on the podcast.
That would
We
be
should have
kinda cool.
Cyril on the.
We should have my
podcast.
clone on the podcast.
We should.
Jackson's looks, but Tommy's personality.
What do you mean?
You're the
Huh?
biggest rule follower that I know.
I have to be. Anyways.
But okay. Saw
I
Gerrera
was
now?
a good. I was a good.
Was it? I don't know
Let's
why
go
he
police.
strains his neck so much. My man's got a 19-inch wide jaw. He just. I was a good assistant deputy. I was a good one.
It's like the dream face reveal.
His tie. Did you see how the tie was? It's
Yeah.
like a square,
It
and
was-
it
that
doesn't
was
go
so
into the
weird.
collar.
Collar and then just flap.
That was so dumb.
Very,
so
very good
random.
way to do a Star Wars suit. You know.
It was very good, very fresh, very new.
Finally! My
very
point!
Space.
We
very-
can talk about my favorite character
very
in the
good,
episode.
very
when we
fresh.
saw Two Tubes in that first shot, his name is actually Two Tubes. The dude with the two tubes.
I can't believe it.
That's actually his
No,
name.
when-
He
when
has a
they-
brother, a twin brother. I forget what the brother's name is.
3 tubes.
No. But yeah, the one dude's name is literally Two Tubes.
Okay. But yeah, no, when I saw him, I was like, finally! I didn't think we were going to get Saw Gerrera at all this episode, so that was
No.
a nice
Yeah,
surprise.
super nice.
And then they talk to him, and then it doesn't look like he's gonna be in it at all. He's like, "I need you to help me with this job." Help with other people? You mean me and somebody else?
day, more eyes. See, this is definitely a part where I feel like although Saw Gerrera is pushing against Luthen on these ideals, that Saw Gerrera will not come around to this, and we will see
He
his
never does.
continued ignorance because of his
Yep.
hatred for the Separatists. Which I think is a really interesting ideal to keep at this point, because I feel like very few people still talk about the Republic and the Separatists as well at this time, because they've not cared about it and they've forgotten it because it's just the Empire. So why would you still need to rely on one faction or the other when neither of the factions nor their ideals exist anymore? So what's the point of beefing with the Separatists who definitely didn't have involvement in killing your sister?
And then on top of that, I just want to point out, this is such a simple scene, but this is some of the best acting I've ever seen in anything Star Wars ever. They had such emotion. It felt so real, so genuine. I was so immersed in that moment.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think that for Luthen, Saw would be his preferred choice of rebels to fund. But I think that for Saw just isn't going to want to buy into it because he's been deceived at this point so many times by the Republic, by the Empire, by the Separatists. He's been wronged by everybody. So any sort of organization that he's not in charge of, he's not going to have anybody above him.
Yep.
No higher ups, no nothing. That's why he was trying to put the deal in his favor so that he was in control of what was happening.
Exactly. He'll never align himself with anybody else, and we see that by the time Rogue One hits, and we see that in every single other property. We get Saw Gerrera
and
in.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has to be in control, and it's his way or the highway for it. But I hope at least we see him again, and maybe see him in action in some sense. But
It would be nice to see how his leg gets blown off and if he gets on the rebreather because it's not on it yet.
Yeah.
that is true. Actually, how
Yeah.
does he get injured?
We have a few more years to get into that.
That is true.
And we got another season.
But we have, again, the Empire is now figuring out what's happening. Dedra is starting to piece everything together with the whoever the guy is that's in charge, who's under Colonel Yularen, the older guy with the
Yeah,
longer
I know
hair.
who you mean,
I
yeah.
don't remember his name, but he's
ISB
he's
cranky.
backing her in this, and I think that he's the one that's giving Colonel Yularen like the kind of the pat on the shoulder to be like, just trust her.
Mm-hmm. No, I certainly feel that. And if this all goes wrong, then that guy's gonna get the boot.
She's doing a good job. Like, she really is doing a good. Like, I'm worried for the main characters again. Even though I know in the back of my head Cassian is gonna live through all this, I'm so immersed in the story that I forget that.
I am liking Dedra a whole lot more as the show goes on too, to be honest.
She's a cunning villain.
Yes, she's not like in a position where she's figuring things out for the sake of figuring them out as a character. She's working the intelligence process. She's putting the connections together. I'm like, okay, this is a believable villain that's doing a good job.
Her motivations are so different from other Imperials because she's not in it for a promotion like everybody else. She's
doing her job.
She's in it because she believes in the Empire, heart and soul. She wants the Empire to thrive, and these people are impeding on that, so they need to be eradicated. And
scum like you needs to be killed off.
Count Dooku was right all along.
That corruption like you.
I love that.
Count Kaka.
Count Kaka.
Count pack. Smoking a count pack.
So we get back to Ferrix though. And I feel like, I don't know if it's going to be this episode or the final episode where everything finally explodes.
I feel like it'll happen in the end.
Something's going to happen next episode because Andor's been on this weird track where we get 2 episodes that are pretty slow, and then the 3rd episode. Every 3rd episode is like a huge climactic event happens or a battle or something, and it like dies back down.
It's like the spawn rate in Pokemon Go. Every 30 minutes there's an okay spawn. Every hour there's a pretty cool spawn.
Yeah.
See, what makes it worth it for me as well is that although it is going slow, the episodes we're getting are almost an hour long every single time.
They keep getting longer.
This
one was 56
they typically
minutes.
get shorter, and that's why I'm okay with it being a bit slow, because they're at least giving it the time. Like, if it was a 30-minute episode and it was that slow, I might have felt a bit differently about the episode in general. However, I'm interested to see how the other ones run out, because I'm with you. If the episodes are maintaining the same trend where they're in the 50-minute mark or longer, especially for the next episode, they're going to make some attempt of breaking free, or there's going to be some sort of action that goes on.
Yeah.
In general.
This is definitely going to be, I think the next episode will be the last one that Cassian spends in prison.
Yeah.
He's definitely escaping, which we might even have like a time jump. Because where is Cinta going, by the way? Because I did want to talk about them again and then Bix. Because the thing with Bix, that's a total cliffhanger, and I'm and Marva too. Oh my god, Marva's sick. Cassian's adopted mom.
Marva.
She's sick right
dying.
now.
And I was like,
she also hurt herself because she was trying to find there's a secret
shaft
entrance
under the hotel so the rebels could find a way.
That's gonna come back later. And it's Cassian's like friend from work. He's that one dude. What, I forget his name.
I know what you mean though.
But yeah, Cassian's friend from work, and then Bix. They're taking care of Marva. Not really any B2 emo in this episode. He's still alive.
0 out of 0 on the B2 emo content this episode. Get him back in the show. I need him.
So he can die.
Hey, don't say that.
My UPS droid.
That's true.
The Red Robin droid.
The Red Rocket, because it grows.
I think, at least with the ISB and the wrap up like Bix as well, I feel like they might find out what they need if they're going to inject you with the truth serum, because wasn't like a probe droid sound like in the distance and whatnot? I felt like that was supposed to be reminiscent of like the Death Star interrogation.
Yeah, we know that Dedra's on Ferrix now, and they took this one dude's dad, and I'm not sure...
The back shop that has the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what that is.
It was the dude who owned the shop where she went up, because it was sent from his shop. So that's why they took him and then found out it was connected to Bix.
Gotcha. Okay, I wondered. I thought it was just an unrelated thing to get her in that area for them to find. Yeah. Makes total sense.
Because they were raiding the dude's shop, and that's why there was the whole commotion.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense now. And then they go and they interrogate her, and I like how Dedra made the decision. She wanted Bix to see the owner to maybe convince her to confess a little bit quicker.
Oh no, it's just to make her scared.
Well, yeah, that too.
Fear will rule this empire.
Indeed it will, and it certainly is right now. It was cool to see stormtroopers, seeing Stormies for the first time. They actually feel intimidating.
Yeah, I was like...
I'm like, oh, a real military presence. And they were doing the cling-clanging again as well.
I didn't think that was a neat
Definitely
detail.
going to come back at the end when they all riot and try to fight back against the Empire.
Probably.
There's that shot in the trailer we have yet to see. I think it'll be at the end of the season where the people fight back. Or, because again, Bix tries to contact Luthen about where Cassian is. Because Cinta and Vel don't know where Cassian is. Bix doesn't know. Marva doesn't know. And little do they know he's in prison. And Clea tells Luthen that he can't help. Luthen kind of has he's like a bleeding heart in that way, which most of the time I feel like he tries to suppress that, where he tries to say, he tries to be tough. But I feel like in this moment, Clea is his voice of clarity, that no matter what, they cannot jeopardize the mission of what they're doing. So I think that was a powerful moment, but I think it's going to come back and bite Luthen in the ass, because I think what might happen is the people of Ferrix are going to riot maybe in the next episode, and then the Empire's just going to burn the whole city to the ground and kill everybody. And then Cassian's going to come back to the ashes of the city. That's a theory I have as well.
Okay.
Because that would make Cassian fully for the rebellion now. Now he's lost everything. He's literally lost everyone he loved, everyone he grew up with. And I think that's how we'll get the B2 emo converting to K2SO theory, because he'll be walking through the ashes of his house, see B2 emo, grab his memory core out, and just carry that with him until he and then join up with the Rebel Alliance, I think that's how it's going to lay out. I don't think Cassian's actually going to be there for when the people riot on Ferrix. I think he's going to be off-world.
Yeah. I think it's cool that this is the first kind of Star Wars show that we're getting, that with all the trailers, we're getting shots from pretty much every episode in the trailers.
That is true.
Instead of the Mando treatment.
Yeah, where it's the first 3 episodes and then everything else is mystery.
But I do like that approach to it, because I like having the mystery, and I like being like, okay, we saw everything, now we don't know what's happening. So now it's like a total shock.
Yeah. Overall, I think it was a fantastic episode, as per usual. Slower, definitely, than most. I was a fan of all the prison stuff. I thought it was super, super cool. It made me feel claustrophobic almost. It's a bad word, but do you know what I mean? I almost felt panicked. I felt Cassian's real, genuine feeling of, there's really no way out of here. He just came to the acceptance of it, and we do see that some people just don't, and they just die because they can't handle the pressure of being in prison, which 12-hour work days. You don't get to talk to anybody. Awful. You're just screwed. So, But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm interested. I'm very excited for the next episode. We have this potential with Melshi and Cassian. We have this potential with prison escape, potential for a riot on Ferrix because Bix got captured and everybody loves Bix. Where's Cinta going? What's Luthen going to do? And what's Cyril going to do? We have a lot of questions going into the next episode. But I know Jacob is probably very, very excited for this episode to wrap. So would you like to take us on out? He's stretching. He's getting ready.
His audio listeners love you to death. I'm getting ready.
Audio warning, audio warning, audio warning.
Audio warning.
Don't do this.
Don't.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching this episode of the 1313 podcast. We really hope that you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below what you're thinking of Andor so far and what you thought of the latest episodes. Leave that in the comments below. Also, make sure that you leave a like on this episode. And if you haven't already, make sure that you join the Discord. Link is in the description below. Tons of awesome people in the Discord, and we have awesome Star Wars conversations pretty much every single day. So you want to make sure that you are joining the Discord.
Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you are following us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Links below.
Yeah. And if you want to buy some merch, link is in the description as well.
Join Patreon.
If you want to win this thing. Oh, we got to do it. No, please.
I wasn't expecting
we gotta do it.
No, bro, because it's thin. It's thin.
Don't break it.
No.
It's the tradition.
It's thin.
It's thin.
I'm going to hit you. I'm not doing it.
I'm going to hit you.
Hey, everybody.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hum da da hum da da hum dum dum da. Hum da da hum da da dum dum da dum. Ba-do 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 ba-dum ba-ba-dum ba-dum ba-do ba-dum ba-do ba-dum dum. Hum da dum hum da da hum dum 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 dum. Hum dum da dum hum da da hum dum da da. Hey, hum da da dum da dum da. Hum da dum da dum da dum da. Dum da da ba da dum dum da ba ba da ba da.